Mhm. Hi.
Hello, hello. I just realized the recording was not started. If you need to share screen, feel free to do that if you've got anything to share with us that way.
Oh, okay. I didn't plan anything to share tonight, so I just thought I would talk a little bit if that's okay. And then we could just take questions or anything. I do have a lot of things that I share online, just so you all know, and I'll tell you about that in a bit. But let's start for a second about your personal practice. So one of the things that I'm a big fan of is finding things in our health and well-being that support an ability to relax and reduce stress. We all know that this is one of the critical steps in a wellness lifestyle, is to be able to find a way to calm ourselves. And what I've found over the years, starting when I was a teenager and moving through the years in different phases, was that a yoga practice really has become a place where I can quiet my mind and take a period of time on a yoga mat, which is just sort of a defined space, and I can do a couple of things. So many of you probably know that yoga really incorporates many different elements depending on how you want to look at it, but predominantly it is about meditation in motion. So it's about calming ourselves, going within to go and connect above. And meditation can take many different forms. There's lots of schools of meditation and types of meditation. But basically, the practice of yoga incorporates meditation, a concentration and focus on what we call pranayama or breath work, and asana practice or movement. And when you think of movement, this is what we mostly think about in America, about postures or a sequence of poses that we want to learn. I'll tell you something that there is something in the idea of meditation and breath work and movement for everybody, no matter their physical ability, no matter where you are in this path of life and health. You chose the doTERRA essential oils because you wanted a natural approach to care for yourself and your family. And that same thing pans out as we start looking at yoga. Some people are runners, some people are weightlifters, some people have a sport they really, really love. I happen to be a skier, a downhill skier, which is what brought me to Utah years ago. But I'll tell you something, yoga as a practice is a great complementary therapy to include into your life because it focuses on a couple of things. It focuses not only on the breath and calming the mind, so de-stressing, but on a physical level, it's really beneficial for flexibility, for strength, and importantly, for balance. So one of the things that happens in time is that we often, some people, think, oh, I can't get more flexible. I promise you, if you keep after a daily practice of something, you're going to get better at it. If you use the essential oils daily, you get more knowledgeable, you get more intuitive. If you practice yoga, you practice meditation daily, you're going to find that you can go deeper and deeper into your own being. And if you're somebody who has some challenges physically, you will find some significant improvement over time by just trying a little bit each day. So that's kind of my message about how we do everything, right? How we do everything in natural health and healing isn't a quick slam dunk solution. It's about continuous decisions that we make about the nutrition that we put in our bodies, about the way that we move our bodies, about our rest and relaxation response, which comes from meditation and breathing properly, and about removing those toxins from our environment whenever we can. And that's the doTERRA wellness lifestyle that we all know. So a couple of things about yoga. No, that's sort of defining what is yoga, why would we want to incorporate it? But I will tell you that, from professional athletes to celebrities to everyday people, yoga has really, really exploded in interest. And in fact, it's kind of interesting because in the USA alone, from 2012 to 2016, they did a lot of research studies. And one of the things they discovered is that people practicing yoga reported that they were practicing yoga increased by 50%. And they're now well over 36 million people in the United States alone that say they have a regular yoga practice. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And what I'm going to move toward is how we can incorporate the doTERRA essential oils with yoga. Think about the fact that there's 30 million people out there just in the States that might be interested in what we're doing. I want to also mention to you that there are reportedly over 300 million people worldwide that practice yoga. So why do we even bring essential oils into yoga? So let me talk about that for a minute. First of all, as Debbie mentioned, I'm the co-author of this book called The Essential Yoga Program. And I'm going to talk to you about this book because this is something that we put together about 5 years ago. It was an idea that I had because I had a lot of people on my doTERRA team asking me, how do I bring essential oils into my yoga practice? How do I bring them into the classroom or the studio? How do I introduce them to a business? So in that process, we put together this program that helps you create monthly workshops that you can do in about a 90-minute to a 2-hour period in a yoga studio that incorporates about 6 different essential oils and blends tied to a theme. So when we use this particular approach in the Essential Yoga Program, it is actually a way that we bring the oils in throughout the practice. So I'm going to back up for a minute. In your own personal practice, one of the things that I found personally really beneficial is to think about the oils that you use to deepen the respiratory system, like open the breath, open your ability to take in more air. So some of the ones that come to mind, of course, we have blends like Breathe, but any of the conifer oils, okay, so Siberian fir, juniper berry, the new black spruce, all of those oils that are great for diffusing. I happen to have some Manuka in my diffuser, which I was told was going to help my voice, because you can hear my voice is a little hoarse, Debbie. But when we look at Holiday Peace Blend, all conifer oils, all fir trees, right? As you think about that, those are great choices. The eucalyptus, Litsea, some of these oils that are great for opening respiratory support. These pair beautifully with your yoga practice. So here's how I do this in the morning when I go to start a meditation. I want to get into the moment and not start thinking about my to-do list early in the morning when I practice meditation. And so what I do is I take a couple of drops, one or two. I rub my hands together, cup it around my nose. And if you have some oils handy, just go ahead and play with me here. And when we do that, however you want to take that in off your hands, or you might want to put it on your, like I could put it on my scarf, I could put it on my chest, I could put a little bit under my nose. And what is that going to do? That's going to help begin to open those airways. As we open the breath, taking in a nice deep breath, it starts to basically lower our stress levels. You probably know this already, but deep breathing is one of the best solutions to anxiety and stress. And a lot of us breathe up here. Pants. That's kind of the fight or flight response that we're trying to get out of when we practice yoga. So grabbing an oil, having a few oils, I like to have them handy right where I do my meditation practice, and start with some that open the breath and help you come into the moment. Shut your eyes, take in a nice inhalation, and come to that moment of peace. And just start watching and noticing your breath. That's a great way to practice with yoga at home. Now, the next thing that I do is I start to find an oil that might want to make me feel more energized. And so what are the oils that help you feel energized? I know for me, things like Cheer Blend, Passion Blend, Motivate Blend, citrus oils. These are all things that are uplifting, that kind of, wake you up in the morning. So I practice yoga first thing in the morning. What I do is I get out of bed, I literally put on my yoga clothes, I walk into my living room, I sit down and I meditate first for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then I do about a 30-minute yoga practice. I do also go to yoga classes. The reason I do that at home is because I can move slowly with my breath and be super conscious from home. So some of you might say, well, that's great, Marty, but I don't know what to do. So I want to talk to you about a couple of quick resources. There's lots of free stuff online. One of my favorites is to go to YouTube and put in the word yoga practice and see what comes up. You might be somebody who likes a rigorous start to the day. You might be someone who wants a gentle start to the day. You can find that stuff for free. And then there's lots of different yoga subscription services you can get online to just have like an iPad or on your phone that you can follow along with to do a home practice. They have 15-minute segments, 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute, hour-long, and you can try different styles of yoga till you can find what works for you. So those are some things that I really think make sense. As your yoga practice evolves, and if you start working in a home practice that's 30 to 60 minutes, and even if you're using something that's recorded and you're going to pause it and apply another oil, you could take the concepts that we present in the Essential Yoga program, where there's 6 different oils grouped together really purposefully to create a theme of physical and emotional impact. So as an example, if we look at the month of November in here, or let's look at October because we're in October, the theme is about release, to surrender and receive. And the oils that it uses, it diffuses frankincense, and then internally uses wild orange. Then it goes on in the practice with breath work. We use citrus bliss. And then go in through the practice, it brings in all the mood management oils, elevation, serenity, and ends with balance in Shavasana. So what's in this book, just to let you know if you're interested in applying oils with yoga, is that it'll tell you the oils, it'll tell you the price of the oils, it'll tell you the sequence of yoga to practice, how to apply them, and the physical and emotional benefits. So this is kind of a how-to manual that a lot of people have found super helpful. And that kind of brings me to the next thing I just want to say is that sometimes it's helpful to have someone kind of guide you along the path with yoga and oils. So I want you to know that I have a Facebook page, a public Facebook page that's called Essential Yoga with Marty Harger, and you're welcome to go to that. And every week I put a new little video up with some ideas about incorporating doTERRA's essential oils into your yoga practice. I also have the past videos on a YouTube channel by the same name, Essential Yoga with Marty Harger. And even though I'm trying to get up to speed on Instagram, I'm just kind of can only put my finger on so many places at once. So that's where I've got everything right now. But there's a lot of ideas in that. And, you know, for your own practice, for things you might want to share with other people, there's some fun things to do. If you're traveling with essential oils, I just try to make it fun, you know, so there's something a little bit different every single week. So those are some resources for you. Also, doTERRA has a few videos and has some material on the doTERRA.com site that you might want to go to. So those are some things that I wanted to mention to you. So you've got the Essential Yoga Program book, you've got online stuff that's free, you can get into a practice. So really all that we're looking for now is what is the motivation for you? What is the motivation that gets you to practice yoga? So hold that thought. I'm going to get a Kleenex. I'm about to sneeze. I happen to live in Heber, Utah, where our favorite plant is ragweed. And that is my #1 allergy. So I've been using the Tri-Ease today. And I also like to use some lavender, which I'm now going to take a swig of. Excuse me. Lavender is really great if you have any histamine reactions in the body, if you can say that. Or you have any itching. My eyes itch quite a bit. And what helps the ragweed allergy is when it snows and sticks around. That's coming soon. Okay, back to our topic of tonight. I want to talk for a minute about, you know, when you have an experience in yoga using the essential oils, you'll find that the oils are really there to deepen and enhance your experience. So we all know that oils like Intune and the new Adaptive blend are some great blends to help us focus. Rosemary, lemon, they bring our mind to the moment. And part of why we use the essential oils in yoga is because we're trying to be present, not think about tomorrow, not think about in an hour from now or what we did yesterday, but what's happening this exact moment in my body, in my mind, in my heart, what is happening right now. And when we can step out of our busy lives for even 20 minutes a day to get to come to peace, you will be amazed what it can do for you if you're not already having a regular practice. So when we have those experiences and when we find that the essential oils can enhance that even further, because we know that when we incorporate our oils with the intention of being present, when we bring our choice of oils, the ones we're drawn to, the ones we want to work with into our lives, they really do help us become a better version of ourselves. And as we do that, typically people start to notice. Strangers may notice, people we know may notice. They're like, wow, you just seem really happy. You seem like things are going great for you. And when that starts to happen, you know, sometimes what's really great to do is just let people know what it is you're doing to make you feel happier or to look good or to have a glow about you or to just be calm. And honestly, you guys, this is how I built my business to Blue Diamond. I'm not a big salesperson. I just like to show people ways they can use the essential oils that make them feel better. And I truly believe that incorporating doTERRA essential oils into our lives has made a massive difference in my life and my husband and I, in our family, our extended family, our friends, our community. I mean, I've been able to witness that over 11 years, and bringing the oils in with yoga is just one way to do that. For those of you that are interested in sharing the oils or building a business with doTERRA, I want to let you know that I've spent a lot of time working in the yoga world or the yoga community to build my own business. And here's why. There's a couple of reasons. One, I love practicing yoga, so it's fun. I enjoy being around people who want to deepen their consciousness and want to open up their spirituality and want to move their bodies simultaneously. But I also recognize that in today's world, a yoga studio, and I'm going to just say studio, but you could be a fitness center, it could be any place where people gather to practice yoga, is a point of connection for people in our society today, particularly women. And we all know, those of you building a business know that the primary market of people who will make a decision about purchasing doTERRA essential oils and bringing them into their families' lives to take care of themselves are women ages 30 to 50. And if you weren't aware of it, these are the people that are the most active in yoga worldwide, 30 to 50-year-olds. So what are you going to find when you walk into a yoga studio or a fitness center to bring your own practice there? You're going to meet other, mostly women in that age group. And those are people who might be interested to respond to the great energy that you're going to share with them. Maybe you just smell good because you came in and you put some oils on, you put a little piece of oil on before you went in, and someone notices it. It gives you an opportunity to talk about the essential oils that you're using for your health and well-being and what they're doing for you and your family. Then if somebody wants to come toward you and wants to get what you've got, great. You've made an introduction, but you're doing something in a community that's good for you, it's good for them, and you're bringing more goodness into it with the essential oils. So I want to just comment that, there are over 18,000 yoga schools in America. And as long ago as almost 5 years ago, there were 52,000 yoga teachers in the United States. 52,000. Now, maybe you have 52,000 doTERRA teammates. I don't. But, it's something to think about as an opportunity, a community that you might be able to step into gracefully, easily, and have fun doing it, and help share the oils and create an income that at least could pay for your yoga classes and some cool new outfits. But more importantly, I know what I've experienced is that this has built a business for me with doTERRA that started as a part-time side gig with my massage practice. And honestly, like you guys, I just came back from India, which was a lifelong dream of mine. I got to go to India for 10 days and I'm going back. And it was fantastic. It was fascinating to me. And so, these kind of dream things that can happen for you, they can happen because you just decided you were going to take a step in the direction of sharing these with others and perhaps building a business. And I know Debbie enough to know that Debbie's a fabulous team leader and she's got all kinds of ideas to help you in that. So if you're interested in the yoga community and knowing more about that from a business perspective, I also have a separate program for business builders. It's called the Essential Yoga Academy, and it's an online training that gives you monthly scripts to use for your classes. It gives you photography, tons of marketing ideas, tips, and a whole series of other types of training, hands-on videos, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, the best thing is just check out my website, martyharger.com, and you'll be able to see the different kinds of things I offer, or feel free to pop me an email or message or something, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. I also just love brainstorming with people about what they're going to do in the yoga community. So, if you're interested in that, there's lots of fun festivals. There's, lots of ways you can do things. So I'm going to back up for a second and talk about another aspect of how I've used the doTERRA oils with the yoga community. So I'm a big fan of practicing yoga, and I know that children today have a super hard time in school. There's a lot of stress and anxiety. Kids are struggling to find a way to cope with everything that's coming their way. And I know for a fact that having a regular meditation practice and yoga practice can be very beneficial to many, many, many people, especially to children. And so I have partnered with a school teacher in my community to kind of weave together a whole bunch of things that I love to do. So I love to give the aroma touch technique that doTERRA offers. And I love to raise money for things that I think are worthwhile in my community. So I put together a Yoga for Service fundraiser with my teacher friend, and I offered people that would donate $25 to to purchase yoga mats for the middle school kids. They could come to my house and get an aroma touch technique. So I was able to offer that to about 30 different people. We raised a lot of money. the kids got yoga mats, and on Monday I get to go in and teach yoga to the middle school kids that are in the class. And I'm really excited about that. So, part of this is just to be a little creative about what do you love to do? What do you love about the oils? And how, if you have a yoga practice or you're thinking of starting one, how can you sort of take those first steps in that direction? If you already have a practice that is established and you're looking to share the oils and perhaps earn an income or build a significant business, as I know Debbie and I have both worked very, very hard over the last 10 years to do, maybe that's in your future. And if so, in the yoga community is of interest, I've just got some great programs to help you with. They're cross-line teams. I've got people all over the world involved in my Essential Yoga Academy. They're taking this program to their community, and they're having fun doing it. So it's a little bit more gentle approach than some of the other things that we try in doTERRA to grow our teams. I think that the yoga world is just kind of waiting for ideas of how they can live a healthier, more natural life. And there's lots of people out there that want to know what you already know. And so if you feel like that's your calling, then I wish you the best with it, because there's so many people out there who really want to know in the yoga community, what do they do? How do they take care of themselves? And you already know that stuff. So think about it. And if I can ever be of any help with that, let me know. If you have a yoga teacher friend that coming up on the holidays, looking for a gift for them, one of these books and an intro kit is a great gift for your yoga teacher. And I know a lot of yoga teachers that have actually used the book, and they use it all the time for teaching. So it's a great tool for them too. It makes it easier to play with the oils. So Debbie, that's what I was going to talk about tonight. Is there any questions or anything I can answer?
That is awesome. Thank you. I really loved how you reached out for support on these yoga mats and gave back to the community. So they paid you $20 for a yoga mat, and you gave them a Roman touch massage, which is really worth much more than $25. I'm going to put it out there, but
Yeah.
really great give back, some give and take, and look what you get to do to really introduce relaxation to the middle school. What a great time. I think of my middle school student and my boys. I've got 5 boys and over the ages. Middle school is a tough time. And it's a stressful time. And what a great idea, Marty. Cool. I love that. That's great. I'm going to open it up for others out there to ask some questions. So unmute yourself and ask Marty some questions. Thank you. Thank you. This has been marvelous.
So anything I can answer for anybody?
Chelsea, do you see anything on Facebook? Any questions on
Hi,
Facebook?
Chelsea.
Hi, I do not see anything, but I do have a question, and I was in and out a couple times, so I don't know if you covered this, but how do you decide what oils you do with certain yoga poses?
Okay.
Or is it just based on how you're feeling that day?
That's a great question, Chelsea. You can really kind of go at it either way. What I found is, as we get a little bit more intuitive in terms of what our yoga practice looks like and what we do with the oils, and that's just a matter of time, right? It's the more we do it, the more we start to go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that next. So as an example, if I was doing some standing postures, I would probably want to be looking at oils that are grounding to me. So it might be things like cedar wood or the balance blend. It could be the tree oils that, really help me ground myself and, kind of rise up out of the roots. When I'm looking at things that are more twisting, I always think about oils that help move lymph and fluid in the body. Because if I'm doing a twisting posture, I'm twisting those organs naturally, right? I'm creating kind of a squeezing effect. So I use things like cypress. I use grapefruit. I might use the citruses in that area. If I'm trying to create a place of meditation and quiet, and I'm trying to focus more in my third eye, honestly, like consciously, like opening up, then I would probably go to more of what I would consider the heavy spiritual list, like frankincense, spikenard, sandalwood, all of the rose, all of the highest vibrational oils. And that's going to really lift me up. The other thing that I like to do with the oils is when I look at sometimes some of the differences, sometimes it's fun to take the Emotions and Essential Oils book and just kind of flip it open and see what you land on. I'm actually doing a talk with my team tomorrow night. In fact, later tonight, I'm doing a call with Australia and with this woman, Monica, Finazzo, who has created this really cool deck called Oracle of the Essences, and it's beautiful paintings and stuff. So it's a lot of nice artwork from Australia, and you can draw a card and it can tell you like a message, and it's really cool, her little book with it. So there's even fun things like that where you could say, okay, I'm going to use a tool today to draw a card and then just pick one at random out of my collection. Did that answer the question a little bit?
Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
We do have one question from Dana. She said, how do you use the Yoga Trio oils?
Oh yes, the Yoga Trio, the Yoga Collection. Here it is right there. There's a couple of things. I mean, there's a lot of information that Elena Brower has put out about them. Their names kind of tell you a little bit about where you might use them in practice. So Anchor is about grounding yourself. So I just believe when we start our practice, we have to get on the mat, if you will, like in our brains, because a lot of times we're thinking about other things. We just have to calm ourselves. So that's why I like to use Anchor to start. Now, I do want to caution, all of the oils in the Yoga Collection are already diluted in fractionated coconut oil. So you got to be really careful that you don't put them on the bottom of your feet or hands. And if you do, rub it in really, really well and make sure, otherwise you put your hands on the mat and boom, off you go. So I've done it. So anyway, face plant pose. So anyway, but the Anchor blend is really great for that. And of course, any of these can be diffused as well. The second one that you would then move into, like, let's say you were doing, you've grounded yourself. Now you move and standing up, you might be doing a sun salutation. You may be then coming into some warrior poses. That's where I look at alignment. Okay, so the Align is the next blend. And Align is a great combination for just that. You're trying to align with your purpose, align with your physical posture and asanas. And then the Arise is really about lifting up. So if I'm doing a sequence at home that starts at the ground and is moving me up through the chakras, if you will, moving up through the torso, moving up through my mind and up into a place of, connection as I end the practice, I would probably, towards the end of the practice, I would use the Arise. Now, I've also taken a workshop with Elena where she does it just the opposite. She starts with Arise to get everybody up and moving, moves into the Align, and then goes on to Anchor in Shavasana. So I guess I would just say that the cool thing is there's so many oils in each of these blends that you can kind of make them your own and make that sequence yours of whatever you feel like that day. But I love the Anchor blend personally. It's my favorite out of the collection. In fact, I think I'll put some on now while we're talking about it.
I go back and forth between which ones are my favorite and the Yoga Trio. So one more question. How do you decide where you apply them?
Great question. Okay. So most of the time in yoga, again, you always want to be careful that you're not putting any diluted oils on your feet and hands. And if they're on your hands, because if you're applying them, you're going to put them on your hands. You just want to make sure that you really, really rub them in. So I suggest that since most of what we're trying to do in yoga is to affect our thinking and our mind and our emotion, I like to think of kind of like a dotted line across my shoulders. It could be on your chest, you're literally on your shoulders, the neck, back of the neck, back, forehead, even into the hair. And that's the majority of the places where I apply oils on students in workshops or where I put them on myself. Alternatively, when we're looking at grounding, it's also very helpful to apply them to the bottom of the feet before some standing postures or balancing postures. Again, just make sure they don't have coconut oil in them. And the other is, if they do, the other place you can put them is on the top of the foot or the inside of the ankle up the leg. So when you're looking at something like that, that's a great way to get those oils into a place on the body where you're not going to have any slipping. But I like to smell them because they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have like maybe a maximum amount of oils you might work with during a yoga session? And you were talking about different oils for, for grounding or if you were twisting your body. Would you actually in a yoga session stop and put an oil on yourself?
Yeah, in fact, Barbara, that's a great question. Yes, the Essential Yoga program format is that you actually stop the practice, apply the oil, and while everybody's applying it, you talk about what it is physically and emotionally, what it does for us, and then you continue the practice. So there's pause, like pulsing pauses, if you will, in the practice. So that answers, I think, the second part of your question. And the first part of your question was how many oils is enough or too many, whatever. My feeling after teaching hundreds of these workshops is that honestly, 6 is ideal. And in that, in the Essential Yoga program, the concept is that we demonstrate aromatic, topical, and internal use of doTERRA essential oils. So the diffuser is going, that's one oil. There's an oil in the water bottle that we pour into little Dixie cups and give people a sample. And then the other 4 are applied topically, with the final one being applied during Shavasana. So there is one of the workshops that uses 8 essential oils, all 8 of the Aroma Touch technique. And that one is a little bit more active for the teachers to apply the oils. As somebody who's practicing at home, I guess my gut feeling is, you're going to have to decide how many oils you want. Sometimes I just use 1, sometimes I use 2 or 3. I have some blends I've put together that are from some different TheraPads and other yoga suggesting programs that people have. You can get at Aroma Tools and Oil Life and other places. And there's some beautiful blends out there. So, I even have a whole other set of oils that are, have been blended for the chakras and balancing. So sometimes I apply those in a meditation. So I guess I would say the cool part about it is it's totally open to you to do what you like. And there's a lot of great ideas, though, about sharing them in a studio setting. If you want to get oils on a lot of people, there's lots of tips and ideas we have on that for you in the book and, online.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Marty, where's the best place to get your book?
Oh, great question. You can go to Amazon or you can go to Aroma Tools. Both of them have it.
Very good to know.
And it's also in an ebook, by the way, which is a lot less expensive. I just want to show you one thing before I forget this because, oops. So I took my book, and because I teach with it, it's a paper. It's a paperback, so it can stack like this in a shelf. But I really like to look at the pages. So I actually took my book to the UPS store and they cut the binding off. And I put all of the pages into a 3-ring binder so it lays flat in front of me while I'm teaching. So that's just like a little tip for people that are yoga teachers. If any of you are out there, it's another way to reformat it. But the ebook has been helpful for people that teach from an iPad. I can't possibly because I need, but I'm sure someone like Chelsea might have. She has great eyes. She can probably see those things in a dark yoga room. So anyway, it just depends on what you prefer, but that's a nice alternative as well, or to have it on your phone and that kind of thing.
Ellen, do you have some questions? Good to have you on here tonight.
Hello. Anybody else?
Hi. I love, have you used, I'm sorry, I missed the first part, but have you used any of the Anchor and the yoga specific oils for your practice?
Yeah, we were talking about that. The yoga collection is a great trio to introduce people to and to incorporate into your home practice or a workshop or a class. I think that they're beautiful blends, and you just have to be careful because in how you apply them, when you're practicing on a yoga mat because they all are already diluted with fractionated coconut oil. So it makes your hands and feet really slippery. So you just have to be really conscious about like when and where do you apply them. But they're beautiful oils. I think that, you know, depending on what your intention is in sharing the oils with others, you'll want to think about, you know, we purposely use single oils and doTERRA's blends to combine in each of the monthly workshops for the Essential Yoga program, because part of the purpose of that was to give people exposure to all the many tools that doTERRA has to offer. Now, of course, since we've put the book together, we've updated it, but there's, you know, doTERRA is coming up with new oils for all of us all the time. So there's no way to keep up with that in a printed book. But, you know, like we just got Kananga at my house. So I'm like, oh, great, Kananga. So, you know, that would be a fun one to introduce into a class or workshop. But the concept isn't just stick to, you know, what we put together in this book. This is just a template to get you started. And honestly, I just feel like the longer we play with the oils personally, and the longer that we have success and experiences, the longer we practice yoga, the more intuitive we get about putting the right stuff together at the right time for the right people. And that's what I love about, you know, the evolution of doTERRA for people, is that you just really empower yourself with good choices. And there's no bad way to use the oils with yoga as far as I'm concerned.
What would you say to someone that does yoga but does not use oils? How would you express to them what the essential oils would do to enhance their yoga experience?
Well, that's a great question, Barbara, because there are some forms of yoga, and there are definitely people who feel very strongly about no aromas. And, you know, my feeling is that there's a couple of uses for essential oils in a yoga setting that are worthy of discussion with anyone. And that is that, you know, when people are using yoga mats and they're in a public setting touching things, I think it's really appropriate to clean the facility with natural products. So minimally cleaning, having a yoga mat cleaner, doing the laundry for the studio, cleaning the surfaces, the door handles, the check-in, you know, computer screen, all of those things with something natural from doTERRA is number one to me. So removing the toxins from the studio environment. The second thing is really talking to people about their personal preference. So I know some yoga teachers that feel like they only want to use 1 drop of essential oil during Shavasana, and that's fine. And quite frankly, the reason that we created the Essential Yoga Program workshops was to create a special event that could happen once a month in a studio that brings new people in, a new experience, and everyone who attends knows that they're going to get essential oils on them, because that's the whole point. It's yoga plus oils. So I think that you have to just be sensitive to what the teacher wants, have an open conversation with them. Some studios will say no fragrance. Some will say lots of fragrance. It just really depends. And,
Okay.
you know, I also think that aromatically, if you work in a hot yoga studio, it's really nice to come in with a quick little spray between classes and just change the body smell.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Well, Debbie, if that's all the questions for tonight, then maybe we'll...
I have one more question. You have an upcoming series that I want you to just share with us of business with different professionals and different highlights. Would you just take a few minutes to outline that for us and get people excited about participating in that?
Absolutely. So Debbie and I are working together with some other Diamond and Blue Diamond team leaders, and we're putting together a really cool series that I'm calling Best of the Blue. And it starts next Monday at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Debbie's going to give you guys the links. And if you're interested, please jump on, because what we're going to be doing, we're going to do a Zoom webinar. So every week you have to sign up or register for that individual one you want to attend. And we have different topics talking to you, particularly you business builders, because that's the purpose of the series, is to just get different perspectives on leadership, different perspectives on how to overcome personal obstacles and still build a business. We have somebody talking about how to authentically be sharing doTERRA. We also have a really fantastic guest speaker who's an author who's sold millions of copies of his book. Some of you may know him. His name is Alan Cohen, and he's a Hay House podcaster and author. Alan is a spiritual and life coach leader, and his book that my team is doing a book club series. And this spring we read his book. It's called Spirit Means Business. And the subtitle is The Way to Prosper Wildly Without Selling Your Soul. And I'm telling you, this is a great book. And we got a lot out of it. And anyway, so Alan is the author, this guy. And he is going to be speaking on Monday night, the 18th of November. So the first call is this coming Monday night, the 28th. We'll have Gina Kiesel will be speaking. Gina lives in Texas, and she's been a Blue Diamond for about 5 years. And she has a great story because she wasn't she's kind of an introvert, hardcore. And so this has been a big challenge for her to build a business, but she's done a magnificent job. She's going to talk about that. The next week we have Danny Larson talking about overcoming some obstacles in their household that they've been working through as a family for the last few years, and how they've managed to thrive and do that as a partnership. Then we have a speaker who's going to be coming on, Wendy Berry, and Wendy is going to be talking a lot about showing up as a leader and what that looks like, how that can affect your success in doTERRA. Then we'll have Alan, and then Debbie's going to do a talk for us about how to approach pregnant women and how to be comfortable with that. Because not everybody is about talking about the oils with pregnant women, and it's such a great time for women to use oils. So anyway, it's a great 5-part series, and we may add some more on the end of it if we keep things going. We've got lots of people with lots of things to share. But, you know, like this kind of a discussion, it's going to be a kind of an intimate group, and we'd love to have any of you that are interested get on those calls. So look for the information from Debbie and register and hop on if you're interested.
Thank you, Marty. That was awesome. So you will see that information posted on both Creating a Healer in Every Home and Promoting a Healer in Every Home. That should have started going up today. I had to take on that. We'll see if it's done. If it's not, I'll take care of it tomorrow. Okay. So at any rate, I'm excited for this series. Marty, it's been such a pleasure having you here with us. Such a blessing. And I love having guest presenters on with us tonight. So thank you. Thank you. Are there any other questions before we
you.
go tonight?
If not, I just wish you guys all the best. And, personally, I just hope you really take advantage of the great deals this month, because I'm telling my team, I'm like, you guys, this is really good. We're getting like $65 worth of free stuff. And Copaiba, we all know, they had a thing in doTERRA today. I don't know if y'all saw it on their Facebook page about how, Copaiba really does enhance the impact of other essential oils. You want this oil in your home, and you want to share it with other people. And the fact that we get this free yellow mandarin, which mine should be arriving like any day now. I can't wait. So I'm trying to play with all the oils from convention, and there's so many cool things to learn about, but I just, it's an exciting time to be a part of doTERRA, and I'm really happy for all of you for your good health, and just wishing you all the best. So namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.